Hello and welcome back to Awakening to Your Story TV, the place to learn, get inspired, and be supported with heart-centered ideas to improve your life. I'm your host, author, heart, and self-love enthusiast, Alicia Hartzell. Now I want to talk with you today about the value of owning this essential truth within you that says that you are living your story. You are the author and the main character of that story. I don't know about you, but that kind of shift in perspective feels really incredible. You don't just have to let life happen to you. You can be an active participant, co-creating your reality. After all, that is what you came here to do, create a unique expression of life. Moment by moment, thought by thought, you get to feel your way into this process of creation. Now, from this powerful point of reference, you get to choose where you focus, where you build, and where you create. Life can be as hard and as challenging or as easy and miracle-filled as you believe that it can be for you. Now, sometimes we catch ourselves accidentally focusing into someone else's story. Sometimes there's an interaction with them that pulls our focus deep into their story. And for the record, that place will never actually be a place that you can know or fully understand or have the power to change. We end up wanting to validate how wrong they were in whatever they said or did or didn't say or do to us. So we have our attention focused on them. We relive that nightmare over and over again, like somehow focusing on their wrongness will somehow make it right for us. But it won't. It will only ever build more momentum to the suffering. So you end up feeling lousy and blaming them for how you feel. All the while, you end up writing more about them in your story than what it is you want to feel as the main character of your story. But when you pull back and shift your focus back to your own story and your own heart and your own desires, you get to choose how you want to feel and who you want to be for you in that moment. Not because of an outside source making you feel something, but because it's your desire and choice to feel a particular way in that moment. You get to do more than just react and respond to other people's stories. You get to write the one that you want for you. Now, I'm a big believer that every moment is a powerful place of opportunity. So if you've been struggling to understand that your focus has been off or that you've been circling around someone else's story, it's simply time to shift your perspective. So let's talk about a few typical thoughts that might be sneaking in if your perspective is off. The first thought, I can't stop thinking how bad I feel because of what they did. Or what about, I can't believe they treated me like that. Or, I'm so mad about how they were and what they did to me. I don't deserve that kind of treatment. They don't even care how wrong they are. Now, none of these thoughts feel good when you think them. They really don't. It's never going to feel good to resist or to push against your essential truth, especially when it's the essential truth that says that you're the author and main character of your story. It's important to understand that thoughts like these are in resistance to your truth, and they are separate from you. Now, you may think them, and you may feel them in a very real way in any given moment, but they do not actually define you. They are not essential to who you are. You did not come into this world with them. Thoughts like these try to limit your truth and make you feel smaller or less than how you were designed to feel and be in your life. It's for this reason I like to call them out for what they are, limiting beliefs. Now, it's important to note that there are also beliefs that are aligned with your truth. These are the ones that you want to work on building up. These feel super supportive and fortifying as you think them. When you focus on them, they get you feeling enthusiastic about your life. And it feels as if they are plugged right into that source energy where everything is possible and working in your favor. Okay, Now back to the limiting beliefs. There are many ways to pick them up. People who are limited in their own beliefs, they could try to hand them down to you. They may think that they are giving you something to help you, but they are trying to convince you of their own reality according to their limitations in the moment. And often in our own uncertainty, we'll take them and believe them as if they're true. Now, it can also happen when a situation comes into your life with a lot of negative energy behind it because it feels really powerful. Or when you find yourself in a negative, repetitive experience, a limiting belief can sneak in and get adopted. No matter how you pick up the limiting beliefs, they are always going to contradict your essential truth. And they're never going to feel good when you think them. So, what if you are tired of thinking thoughts that feel bad and you want to think thoughts that feel better for you? Well, it is totally within your power. That's right. The great thing about beliefs is that because they are simply thoughts that you keep thinking over and over again, you absolutely have the power to change them. I like to call this process repatterning, and it's amazing. There are endless ways of going about repatterning your thoughts. Endless. But it's important to know that no matter what, you are able to change them one thought and one feeling at a time. Now, your first job is to just notice the negative thought that's causing that discomfort, right? It's an indicator that you're out of alignment with your truth. Call it out. Just let it be there so that it no longer can run on repeat in the background of your thinking. Now, as you begin to bring your conscious awareness to that thought, your next job is to stop believing what it's telling you. I mean, seriously, can you believe that you do not have to believe these thoughts that are coming in? When you do this, you slow down that momentum and that energy and the emotion that it's been carrying with it. You were never meant to believe these thoughts anyway. You were meant to use them to help you feel and find your way back to your truth. Once you have that limiting belief isolated, you get to see it for what it is. And it's amazing. Then you can start to make room for new ideas and new thoughts that feel good and aligned with your truth to emerge. This is where you get to really repattern your way back into feeling that truth. Let's say you have a thought that tells you to keep focusing on how wrong they are and how mad you are about what they did or said to you. What if you take all the limitation off that thought? What would you have then? You might find a thought that says something like, wait, I don't want them to be part of my story. I want to know my story for myself. Now that thought might lead you to a thought that says, I don't want to participate in this negative feeling and I want to feel good rather than feel like I'm being tossed around by these people. Now, I hope that thought will lead you to a thought like, I have the power to write my story so that I feel good and so that I can be and stay the main character of my story. As you focus on your own story, you activate curiosity about your thoughts, and that might lead you to something that says, as the author of my story, I always have a choice to write it the way that I want to write it. Then you give yourself room to start to think about what it would feel like to really be there. What would it feel like to take back that power and to narrate your story the way that you want it to? What would it feel like to no longer be held emotional captive or hostage to other people's actions? You might find a thought like, I have the ability to focus on what I have the power to change. That may lead you to a thought that says, I get to focus on validating my truth, so that you turn your focus towards your truth. And naturally, you start to unplug from all those limiting beliefs. And from there, more aligned thoughts and curiosity will help you feel your way forward. How would you feel if you were living the life from that place of freedom to feel and be and do what it is you want? Let yourself be there now. Put your mind and your energy there as much as possible. Stop replaying those nightmare feelings over and over again and start daydreaming about how you really want to feel and who you really want to be in each moment. When you activate thoughts like these, it helps to create a deeper language to your truth, your desire, and those good feelings. It helps you keep your focus where it is you really want it to be. This is why it's so valuable not to react, repress, or rebel from limiting beliefs, but rather use them. When you stop taking direction from them and get curious instead, you allow them to help you create language for your truth. And from this place, you're going to find yourself really having a different kind of experience with your life. So let's call out some new patterns of thinking. This is my story. I am the author and the main character. As the author of my story, I always have a choice to write it the way I want to write it. I have the ability to focus on what I have the power to change. I always feel better when I bring it back to my heart and story. I get to focus on validating my truth. Now, thoughts like these are way more aligned with your truth, and there's a beautiful sense of freedom that comes with your truth. So get curious about your thoughts and your feelings. Take a second or third look at your thoughts and feelings and make sure they're the ones you really want to be thinking and feeling. And remember, it all changes one thought and one feeling at a time. So, now I want to talk to you about some tools that will help you stay plugged into your truth during this repatterning process. Intention setting has two very powerful jobs in your life. The first job is to consciously claim what it is you want. And the second job is to act as a check-in for all your thoughts. Now I'm going to give you one that is really good when you're repatterning and doing this work. But I really want you to have fun coming up with an intention that's all your own, that feels good for the moment that you're in. Now, I would start your day off with it, and I would return to it as many times as you need to throughout your day. So write it out and put it somewhere where you can see it or you can get to it easily. Okay, my intention is to watch my thoughts with compassion and to reach for thoughts throughout my day that feel good to me. Okay? Now, another thing that really helps as you're repatterning your thoughts is to give yourself permission. Now, self-permission can really feel like a door opening that was once closed. It also helps you claim the power to do or not to do something that you really want to in your life. So here's one that you can use that goes with the topic that we're talking about today. But again, I challenge you to create one that feels good to you in the moment. I give myself permission to really take ownership for being the author and the main character of my story. I have permission to keep my focus on my heart and plug back into my truth and to my power. It feels pretty good, right? An additional tool that I really love is building up those new patterns of thinking and to flood your mind with outside sources that feel the same way or that activate those new thoughts. Because an idle mind is always going to veer back towards what it knows best. So you have to keep moving your thoughts down that new pattern of thinking. You can always listen to a podcast of people who are focused in that same place you want to go. You can watch videos of people who inspire you or to deepen you into that new pattern of thinking or how you want to feel, right? You can also watch a movie that evokes those feelings that you're trying to build up in your life. One of my very favorite and easiest things to do is to write those truths out and how you want to feel out as many times as you can. Write them over and over again. And then go back and reread them out loud. When you write things down, it helps you really use your brain to prioritize what it is you want to focus on and act on in your life. Reading actually activates the mind in a very similar way, but it also sets your imagination into action. So prioritize and set your imagination into action on thoughts that feel good and aligned with your truth. You can also tell an inner circle friend. That way, they can help you celebrate as these new experiences really unfold in your life. Remember, repatterning is all about changing your focus to support new patterns of thought. It happens one thought and one feeling at a time. So watch those thoughts as they come in and choose the ones that feel progressively better. These kind of micro adjustments give you so much power back in your life. Now, wherever you're finding this video, I'm going to link some of the other videos from Awakening to Your Story's past episodes that might help you on this topic. There will also be a realigning and repatterning video that goes hand in hand with this specific episode. So, if you enjoy a more hands-on approach, you can also go to awakeningtoyourstory.com, where you can find a copy of the Awakening to Your Story book, starter kit, and handbook. Now remember, you have the power to write your story the way that feels good to you. So until next time, know that I am holding a place of love for you, where you owning your power and role as author and main character of your story, well, it's undeniable. For more support, information, and inspiration, join me at awakeningtoyourstory.com.